7 o'clock, and you know what time it is. It's time for the Homegrown Radio Hour. I'm Tara Bassett, and it's so nice to have you here with me tonight. It is the 16th of November, which is hard to believe. I'm just thinking, how long ago was it that I was actually beginning to host the Homegrown Radio Hour? And I can't remember. I think it was 3 years ago. I could be wrong about that, but it feels like it might have been 3 years ago. And here we are in the middle of November of 2016, which is hard to believe in and of itself. And we're here on another Wednesday night with a beautiful, beautiful moon outside. The supermoon is waning, but boy, has it been a glorious week of moon gazing. And thank heavens we've had such beautiful weather to do it. But I have such pride in the guests that have appeared on the Homegrown Radio Hour. And I say appeared because you can see the show streamed directly to our YouTube channel. And it's going straight up there as we speak. And you can see in the camera as you are watching me, you will see the lovely and talented Bomar and Ritter, Mary and Bob. And
I'm the lovely one, he's talented, or he's the lovely one and I'm talented?
I don't know, whichever it works out best for you. But it's very, very nice to have you both with us. Thank you so much for coming all the way from Scottsburg. Golly,
yes, we appreciate
Scott
it.
County.
Yeah.
That's
it's an hour away.
It
no,
is.
yeah, we're about 25, 30 minutes away from anywhere.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for driving. And how was the drive tonight? Was there any real traffic problems?
A little bit. Once we got on the 64, our GPS said you have a 6-minute delay, but it didn't really mess us up.
But it wasn't that bad.
No, we got off in Grinstead and worked our way up. So.
Oh, well, that's good. That's a really good thing. So what's it like up there in Scott County? How much music do you have?
Well, for us,
there are some musicians that are hiding up there. I know that Jeff Guernsey, that played with Emmylou Harris and some others, he lives up in that area. His brother Ivan, who makes resonators, he made a resonator for Jerry Douglas. I mean, he's just these people are hiding.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And there is a lot of talent up there for the type of music that we play. There's not really any venues. We play in the summer. We play at our wineries, and there's a Streamcliff Farms just up the road. That's about as close as we play. So yeah, there used to be a coffee house on the square in Scottsburg, and we would play that, and that worked really well. But they're still there, but they don't do music, so we have to kind of venture out.
You're close to Madison.
Yeah, about
you
20 minutes
know
from
my
Madison.
friend Rusty Bladen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome guy.
Yeah.
He drives down occasionally to play for us.
Yeah, high energy show. Really,
he's
really
a
good
powerhouse.
Yeah, he is. He came down here and played at Kingfish across the river on the big patio, which is so beautiful, and it was a family-friendly show. So he entertained, and he played, and he sang, and he had kids up dancing all over the place. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I'm going to just kick you off. It's 3 minutes now after 7, and I want them to hear some of your beautiful music. So what would you like to start with?
I think we'll start with a kind of one of our old standbys of mine. It's a tune called Backroads, inspired by my trips back and forth from Indianapolis to Terre Haute when I was going to school over there a few years back. And I noticed I would take US 40 instead of I-70 because I had this little Chevy Vega. And I was afraid that it might break down on me. And
I used to drive my mother's Chevy Vega. That's hilarious.
Little tiny car. But it didn't fail me on the road, but I thought if I needed to get help, it'd be easier to get it on the U.S. highway instead of the interstate. So, but I did notice a lot of the things along the route, businesses and things that had kind of fallen by the wayside because of the interstate taking the traffic away. So I was trying to write songs back then, but I really, nothing was working that I liked. So a few years later, once I lived in Nashville for a little while and picked up on how they did things down there, and the song came together, and again, with many similar roads traveled as well on that. So this is a little picture tune called Backroads.
Bomar and Ritter on the Crescent Hill Radio, Homegrown Radio Hour.
There are gas stations that have been closed down, and beer joints where the good old boys go. Rusted rails which long for a train, fading billboards every mile or so. Old motels which they've turned to apartments, empty farmhouses aged by the sun. Abandoned abandoned cars sitting out in a field at the point where they refuse to run. You may not notice from the freeway, you won't see 'em if you fly. All the things that progress left behind as the years rolled slowly by on the back roads, on the back roads. You won't see unless you go on the back roads. They still meet at the corner market and sometimes talk of the bygone days. They've seen the seasons come and go as they've carried on in their own way. You may not notice from the freeway, you won't see 'em if you fly. All the things that progress left unchanged as the years rolled slowly by on the back roads, on the back roads. You won't see unless you go on the back roads.
What a beautiful song, On the
thank
Back
you.
Roads. This is Mary Bomar and Bob Ritter. How did you get your name of your band? Just out of curiosity.
My maiden name is Bomar. And I was singing and playing long before I ever met Bob.
Isn't that fun?
And so I don't know, we've been playing with Bob's brother some gigs lately. He plays bass, Bill Ritter, and so I kind of like to calling us Mary and the Ritter Boys.
Yeah, I met you guys for, I think, the second time at the Crescent Hill 4th of July, which was just
Right.
so much fun, and you brought such a wonderful flavor to that whole event. And you played in the afternoon hours when it was just boiling, and people were gathering around and enjoying hearing you so much. And I knew when I heard you that I really wanted to have you on the show, because you kind of remind me a little bit of of the folk artists of the 60s, obviously, which is what you are.
Yes.
But we were talking before the show about the fact that we all, sang growing up. And there was this really funny movie. I don't know if you guys saw it, by the same people that did Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman. It was called A Mighty Wind.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what this reminds me of.
And this is Spinal Tap too.
And
So you guys
this
did
is
that.
Spinal Tap.
Oh,
I'll never
hilarious.
forget that. But
Yeah,
this
we
is
saw
what
that.
it reminds me of, is this extraordinarily tight harmony and beautiful, melodies. And I think you're actually better than the Mighty Wind people, but
Thank you.
you're welcome. But they were great. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole movie was fantastic and full of those extraordinary folk songs. But anyway, I've been kind of giggling about that. And I'm looking at your schedule and I'm thinking, how are these people keeping up with themselves? You must be meeting yourselves coming and going.
It seems like it. A year, I think in 2015, our schedule dropped a bit. Partly, I do all the calling and booking for the most part, and for some reason, places that I had called the year before booked earlier, and I called several places were already booked or stopped having music, and we were way down on gigs. And in some ways, it was a way a year to maybe just kind of regroup, have a couple Fridays off here and there, and I thought, well, we can't let that happen in 2016. So thankfully I got on the phone and started calling places way early last year to find out if they're not booking, say, in October, when are they going to start. And it worked out, thankfully, that we had a lot of new venues this year, a lot of wineries and places that it went well enough that I think they want to have us back. So this year we should be as busy, and we're still trying to get a hold of new places and just expand our venue base. And
well, I see your 2017 schedule is already up, but just a few real quick, and we'll repeat these as the show goes along. Sunday the 20th, which is this next Sunday, the Bold Rock Cidery, 1 to 4:30, and it's in Nellysford, Virginia. Go to boldrock.com to find out more. You said you were from Virginia.
I grew up just outside of Charlottesville, about 13 miles east of Charlottesville.
So how far is Nelly's Ford from there?
An hour.
An hour, maybe. It's near Wintergreen. Anybody that skis and knows about Wintergreen Mountain, Nelly's Ford is near Wintergreen.
How cool!
Shenandoah Valley area.
You're going to be there stay for Thanksgiving with your family?
Well, Thanksgiving is going to be Saturday the 19th.
Oh, that's nice.
And then we have to come back home on the 21st. But Thanksgiving Day will be fine. My dad still lives up there. He's 88, but he's such a pillar of the neighborhood. He's the daddy and granddaddy to everybody there. So one family will have Thanksgiving breakfast. He'll go to that. They'll walk through the woods to the Episcopal Church for the Blessing of the Hounds ceremony, where the horses and riders come into the big circle, and the dogs are there, and people from all over the world are gathered around to see this service. And then after it's over, the horses and riders and the dogs go off and go fox hunting. It's been a tradition there since I was a tiny little girl, and I used to look out the window and watch the horses and riders come, and even women riding side saddle. And Mom and Dad never took me to that ceremony. And then after Bob and I met, I was up there one time talking to the Episcopal rector and told her we sang and we did the national anthem for NBA basketball games, and she goes, "Oh, well, I want you to sing it for the Blessing of the Hounds this year." So she flew us up there, and for several years, and then I wrote my own version of the 23rd Psalm, and so we did that for a number of years. So here I am singing at this thing that I never went to when I was a child. It's a real historic event. So he'll go to that, and then they'll walk back, and then in the afternoon there's another place that has a little stone cottage, and they bring in the oysters on the half shell and the turkey, and
wow.
He doesn't have to. I don't have to worry about Daddy on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh,
He'll be
no.
well taken care of.
Gosh, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. So then Hopwood Cellars Winery on December the 3rd, and that's in Zionsville, Indiana.
Yes.
And then you hop back across the river to the Talon Winery in Shelbyville, finally on December the 10th. And then one more on December the 15th, Robin Run Village in Indianapolis. So you guys are putting some miles on the old car, aren't you?
Yeah. We've got a couple of private Christmas parties. The Kiwanis Club is on the 14th, and the some insurance underwriters is on December 8th.
But we can't come to those.
No, and then we have Lyrics Alive workshops the second and third weeks of December.
Tell me about that. But wait, play me another song first.
Well, we'll do you a Lyrics Alive song. How about that?
I'd love that.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Well, this one was written at Vienna Findlay Elementary School by some fifth graders. That's in Scott County. And sometimes they have something prepared, and then they get to see the before and after. Well, teachers are so busy now that they don't have time to have anything ahead of time. So we go in, okay, what do you want to write about? And there were several suggestions, a lot of zombies. And one boy stands up, he goes, "One time I saw a butterfly. It was so pretty as it flew by." And I said, we're going with that. Aww. So I related a story of when I had a butterfly. Well, I got a green and gold chrysalis off of a cattail reed one time fishing with my dad, and I brought it home and suspended it over a glass, and in a week or so the chrysalis sort of melted, and there was a monarch butterfly inside.
How awesome.
I spent the day with this butterfly after it dried out and had its wings spread, and it rode around on my shoulder. And so I told the kids that story, and then this other little girl related one very similar, and we created this song called Butterfly. And and even after I wrote the music, we went back in, and one little boy had an idea for extending one area of the music a little bit longer, holding it out, and it just made the song. So these children and their writing and their creativity and when we put it all together, it's pretty awesome. And
I can't wait.
We've been doing lyrics live since 1998.
I'll hear more about that after you play this song for me.
It's called Butterfly.
All right.
I'll make sure I'm in tune.
Beautiful. Bomar and Ritter on the Homegrown Radio Hour. So glad that you guys were able to come in tonight and join us and bring your beautiful music. So we've talked about the background that we've all had in music, and you said that you always wanted to sing USO.
Yes, I used to sit and watch every USO show that came on television, and I want to do that. And I don't know why I never got in touch with wherever I needed to get in touch with to try to do that. But to me, that was it.
All the Bob Hope specials from Vietnam.
Yeah. It was
seems
awesome.
It wasn't too long after we got married, we got some connection with somebody where we could have gone over to Spain to do something. We would have had to pay our way over there.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't do it. But I forget what that was. It was something related to USO or some sort of military.
Yeah, it's a pretty
program.
awesome organization.
I haven't thought about that since probably that. That just reminded me of that.
Did you all come from military families? Either one of you?
No,
not really. Both of our dads served.
My dad was in the National Guard. His dad was in the Marines and the Army.
Well, you come from military families then.
Yeah, I
but
think
not
more in
then,
career sense. But
yeah.
I guess once a military vet, you're always
My mother's 95, and she's a World War II vet.
Oh, my goodness.
She served in the waves, and my dad was a pilot. So, I'm a definite military kid. But we didn't have, they weren't career either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they served in World War II, and then they got the heck out of Dodge and started raising a family, which was a really good thing.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're not playing music?
I work at the Sunshine House Health Food Store in Scottsburg, Indiana, and I take care of our 14 cats.
Oh my gosh. Colin, we got another crazy one in here. I need to have her on Waggin Wednesday. All right, start with the top, oldest to youngest. Let's hear it.
I'll give it my best shot. I think now Fred is the oldest one. Fred, and then Halloween, and then Redding, and then, Two Spots. Two Spots is Fred's, one of Fred's. He's the daddy to Two Spots. So Fred and Two Spots and Halloween and Redding, and we lost Redding's sister Spicy this year. And then there's Jack, and there's Rudy, and there's Zeb, and there's Foxy, and there's who am I forgetting?
Roosevelt, Pumpkin.
Roosevelt, Pumpkin, and Duncan. We picked the three of those up in the middle of the road. They were probably about 8 weeks old. We had come down to Jeffersonville 2 years ago to see the riverboat thing. Quarter after midnight, we turn on our road, and there are these little kittens in the middle of the road. So I stopped and I called them, and they came flying to me and nearly jumped into my arms, and they have been the most wonderful little kitty cats. My vet wants to call them Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod, but it's Pumpkin, Duncan, and Roosevelt.
So where are we at now on the count?
And then there's
11.
Then there's
11.
Lily.
Okay, Miss Lily.
And
rescued her.
And we rescued her back in September. And then there's Gracie and Hershey that we just got like 2 weeks ago.
About 10 days ago.
And where did they come from?
The side of the road.
People dumped them. That's just, it just...
In a farm, I can imagine. I know that there are farm settings all over the region that people, and the owners are like, oh my God, we just got another cat.
Let's just get rid of it.
But yours are not barn cats.
No, not at all.
No, they'd like to be. And there's a barn across the street that a couple of them go over to and hang out there. But the thing about these last two that have showed up, usually we rescue one or it shows up, and it takes a while for the others to adjust to it. There's a hissing and growling and backing away. These two just come in like they've always been there, and everybody else like, yeah, okay, come on.
Isn't that fun?
Did I get
never
all
have
of
seen
them?
it. Yeah,
I think you did.
14.
You got 14. I don't know. Did you? I don't know. It's pretty scary. I've got 3 dogs, and I used to have 3 cats too. And when they were all together, they just were each other's best friends.
Yeah.
The 2 older boy cats were there first, so they raised the puppies. And then the little girl cat came along. So it was an extraordinary experience, and the 6 of them all slept with me.
Oh, yeah.
Wrapped around my neck and my head and my body, and, I don't know how I ever managed to get a night's sleep. But they were very comfortable.
Yeah.
And I really was.
Well, we have no heat source in the upstairs of our old house.
So those 14 cats come in handy.
There's usually about 4 or 5 on the bed every night, and sometimes more, but when we're downstairs and Bob falls asleep on the couch, I have taken pictures before, but he's totally surrounded. They're on his lap, they're on his chest, they're on his shoulder, they're on either side of his legs. It's just really kind of hilarious, but we love them.
You know the story about what happens if you die? Your dog lies down beside you because you're his source of food. But you know what happens if you die and your cat's there?
He probably
You're his source of food?
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say,
Lordy, lordies. Let's play another song and get off the cannibalistic cat topic here.
You want to do Crow?
Yeah, I want to hear that. Dan Fogelberg. You guys just came back from a cool thing, and I want to hear about it after you play this.
All right. Well, let me get my capo on here and make sure I'm in tune.
I also want to hear about your recent finger issues after we play this.
And while she's doing the tuning, we're not playing music, I'm either on the phone calling places or on the internet. We don't have internet at the house, so sometimes I have to go to a little local grocery a couple miles away and Deputy to use their Wi-Fi, or I can do some.
Indiana.
Yeah, I can do some on the phone, but sometimes it's not as easy. But and then I was a I still am a pharmacy technician. I did that in hospitals in Indianapolis and then in Nashville, Tennessee for till 2004 full time, and I'm still on staff there as what they call PRN as needed.
Right.
And my goal this year is to not have to go down there more than maybe once a month, and it's close to that. But it's a nice situation because the money I make down there is better than anything else. This has been on staff there forever. I can make better money going down there, even with the expense of traveling and all. And I can tell them the days I can work, and that's it. So, and if something comes up where I can't, one of the days I have to bail on, I don't like to do that, but I can do that. So there's a really nice flexibility to allow us to still do this. Now, it means we still live a pretty Spartan existence, but I always like to think of it as a way of making a life over making really great living.
There you go. And you join all the musicians in Louisville and in Southern Indiana. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Fogelberg.
Crow from around 1975.
from a crime.
Gosh, that's a beautiful song.
Isn't that an
cool
awesome
tune.
song?
Yeah,
It's
it
so
is.
much fun to play.
It just kind of sends shivers down the back of your neck too. It's haunting.
Yeah, very haunting.
Tell me about your big trip. You said you just came back from where? Where Dan Fogelberg's thing is?
Portland, Maine.
This one was
Oh.
in Portland, Maine. They've had Dan passed away in 2007 from prostate cancer, and part of what we try and do when we play his songs is just remind guys and people in general just to be proactive with your health and get checked for things like that, and you can prevent a lot of, they're very treatable if we call it early.
Sure.
But anyway, they started having, in 2010, they started having a yearly celebration in Peoria, his hometown, Peoria, Illinois. And we just went as spectators the first year, and there's a lot of musicians playing there. And I thought, well, we could hang with some of these folks. So I got in touch with some of the folks that set that up, and they got us on in 2011, and we've been on ever since. They've asked us to be a part of it in various ways. And this year, they announced it being Portland, Maine, because he had a place up there in Maine. And beautiful. Maine is just incredibly beautiful.
Yeah,
It's an enchanting place.
It sure is.
And so it took us a few days they really want us to do this, and so, first they announced it in Portland, Maine. We thought, well, we just can't go. We just can't afford to go.
Yeah,
They'll
there's
get
a
somebody
guy
else
up
there.
in Maine that's kind of a Dan Fogelberg tribute artist, Don Campbell, and we thought, oh well, they'll get Don to play for this and or local musicians, and then we find out when they called and said, Don Campbell has a show on the Saturday night up there, and so we've decided, since we won't have to pay for him, it's a good time for us to have the whole weekend, the celebration weekend, around his performance, and we'll do the welcoming thing on Friday night. And we want to fly you all up there.
Wow,
And it's
cool.
it took us a couple days. They really want us to do this. So we got a set list together, which was really hard to do because we did 22 songs, and to pare that down, and we wanted ones that hadn't been done in the previous celebration weekends, and ones that would challenge us. And my brother Bill Ritter played bass with us, and they flew him up there as well. And it was
Cool.
just an amazing night. They had it in a place called the Portland Club. It was just a very cozy setting. We set it, instead of being on stage like a regular concert, we set the room up like a living
Cozy,
room. Cozy.
intimate
Oh, very
living room.
nice.
And it was a wonderful set, and just we're still kind of floating from that experience. And Dan Fogelberg's wife was there, his widow Jean.
Very cool.
And we got to talk to her, and we met her years ago, but got to know her a little bit better, and she gave us an endorsement. She said, I loved your set list. The song you started off with was just perfect. You didn't do all the hits. You did some new, and she really loved
More
Crow.
obscure pieces.
Yeah, and those are usually my favorite artists like that. And Fogelberg was the one that really gave him a musical direction. And a lot of artists that are some of our favorites, their favorite songs of ours aren't the ones that get played on the radio.
You guys
so.
had a lot of influences. Now
Yes.
tell me about the catastrophe that happened to you.
Okay, so we played the Crescent Hill, the makeup Crescent Hill, since the 4th of July.
Right.
That part got canceled.
After
so
the horrible storms of July the 4th, we
Yes.
came back in September and did it over
September
Labor
4th.
Day.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was September 4th. And so we played, and Bill played with us because we'd been working on the Fogelberg stuff. And so that was on the 4th. So 5 days later, 9th month, 9th day at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, my
no, I'm
God.
not kidding.
That's my dad's birthday, September 9th.
Well, it's a good day for him.
No, he's dead.
Well, it
Not
was-
a good day for him. Well, I guess it could
Yeah,
be.
it still
Anyway.
would be. But anyway, I'm sweeping our porch, and cat hair and dirt and stuff, and it's like a sort of a.
I can't imagine you having any cat hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something.
Well, you're not
14 cats.
You're not well dressed unless you've got cat hair.
That's true.
So anyway, I'm really going at it. I'm kind of a strong woman, and I'm not wimpy sweeping because it takes some elbow grease.
You're a
to
farm
get it.
girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Get in there.
Well, I'm sweeping with a metal-handled broom.
Oh, gosh.
And it broke.
Oh.
And it lacerated my ring finger really badly. And I won't
That's
won't
on your
say,
finger's hand, or
Yeah.
the playing hand.
the string hand. And I won't say what
gosh.
my first two words were, but the first one was, oh, and then it was like, no, why, no, and Bob comes running, what's wrong? He thought I'd seen one of the cats get hit. And I said, look at my finger.
Oh.
And so we wrapped it up and headed off to the emergency room, and they came in to stitch it up, and this is gross. She didn't say that, but I was like, they don't want to hear this.
I couldn't imagine the nurse coming in going, this is gross.
She lifts up the flap and she goes, oh, this is a lot deeper than I thought it was. We're going to have to
inspiring confidence.
We're going to have to x-ray. And I said, and why is that? She said, because if you have nicked the bone, you will have to go to an orthopedic hand surgeon.
Yeah.
She said, I can see your tendon and it's intact.
Great.
And the x-ray showed that the bone was not involved. So she stitched it up, and we went to Ohio and did a gig that night, and I just wrapped a scarf around my hand that sort of matched my blouse, and the scarf was hanging way down, so it was sort of my Steven Tyler imitation. But I held my hand up sort of close because I had to keep it up. At that point, you keep your finger elevated.
Yeah.
So I learned to play the maracas, and I just realized I forgot to bring them tonight.
Doggone it.
The shaker percussion, and so I've gotten pretty good at that. And
so he just played and you did the shaker.
And boy, was it. And his brother
really
met
weird.
us. His brother happened to be in Columbus, Ohio, and came over and met us and played with us. It was so weird not to hear my guitar parts.
I'm sure.
And I really do sing with my playing and my singing kind of is all intertwined.
Sure.
And so Bob played a few of the songs that I sing on, and my part is different, and I couldn't figure out where to come in a couple of times.
Yeah, it's like, here, right here.
And you finally went to Coots and Kleiner, which you should have done in the first place.
Yeah, and they basically said that by that time, it was just a few days before we left for Maine, which was almost 6 weeks after the accident.
Oh,
and the main reason that I went to them was to make sure that I wasn't doing something terrible by trying to play guitar. By then I had been playing guitar for about 3 weeks, somewhat.
Right.
And he said, oh no, I think guitar playing is probably really good therapy for your finger.
That's amazing.
So
this is now the Homegrown Surgery Hour. And on we go with Bomar and Ritter. What's up next, kids?
This is a tune that if you'd asked me to just play one song for you tonight, this would have been it. It's a special song that my parents, the reason we ended up in Scott County is my parents grew up there. I have a lot of cousins and an uncle that's still there. And
it says on your website the land you live on belonged to your great-great-grandfather.
Right.
That's cool.
We didn't realize that until we had looked at the property and drove up the hill and saw this landmark. I called my mom and said, this house we're looking at is just down the road from the old, which turned out to be the old home place of the great-great-grandfather. And he had staked his claim back in the day when you could do that and owned all this land along the road. So when we found out about that, we felt like this is where we were supposed to be.
There's where you were supposed to be.
So 2 acres. And so anyway, my dad grew up there in Scottsburg, and when he was a kid, his dad was an alcoholic, and so he wasn't around a lot. An old man, Stucker, was sort of a mentor to him, and so after Mr. Stucker passed on in the early 80s, Dad wrote this long poem about him, and I took the essence of the poem and put it into this song called Spirit of the Man.
Let's hear it. Bomar and Ritter on the Homegrown Radio Hour, Crescent Hill Radio.
Indiana farm 80 years ago. Old man and a horse plowing row by row. Little boy'd watch the man sweat and toil as the rusty blade dug through that dusty soil. Dawn's first light found them in the field, with the little boy fast at that old man's heels. Afternoon naps neath an old shade tree, with the little boy's head on that old man's knee. The old one told stories as they walked the land, while the young one held tightly to his calloused hand. and the bond grew strong between child and man. It seemed to be part of the master's plan. 'Cause from each generation things are handed down like seeds that are planted into fertile ground. Time goes by, roots take hold like the spirit of the man in the young boy's soul. Well, the boy grew up and he moved away, but the Spirit was his guide nearly every day. Often he'd recall a wise word said as he lived a simple life like the old man led. 'Cause from each generation things are handed down like seeds that are planted into fertile ground. Time goes by, roots take hold like the spirit of the man in the young boy's soul. On a rain-soaked morning, word came by phone. The Lord had seen fit to call the old man home, and a part of a little boy died that day when the old man quietly passed away. 'Cause from each generation things are handed down like seeds that are planted into fertile ground. Time goes by, roots take hold like the spirit of the man in the young boy's soul. Indiana farm 80 years ago. Little boy had watched the man sweat and toil.
What a beautiful tune. Man, when did you write that?
Gosh, that was back in 89.
89,
Just
I think.
glorious. I love the sound.
It makes grown men cry.
Oh, I bet it does. Makes grown women cry, too. Colin's out there dabbing at his eyes with his red handkerchief. Good Lord. That was beautiful.
Thank you. It's a real,
beautiful,
real special
beautiful.
tune.
So, I just keep coming back to the 14 cats because it fascinates me. Do any of the cats show musical talent?
Oh, yeah, Roosevelt. When he went right after we got Roosevelt, I had my guitar leaning up against the couch, and I actually got a video of it on my camera phone. He went up to it, and he turned his head sideways, and he grabbed the strings with his teeth, and he went boing, and he kind of shook him up, and then he did it again.
Oh,
and it
my
was
gosh.
Just, and he even like took his paw and just sort of went like that, up and down the string. It was just hilarious,
Did you send that in to somebody, I hope?
No, because it's on my camera. I'm trying to get out of this guitar so I can get my other guitar, and I...
Do you need me to help you?
Maybe. Well, you stay there and let me see if I can do it on my own.
Take your headphones off. Maybe that'll help. I think you might be tangled in your headphones and your guitar strap.
Well, this makes
there
for
you
good
go.
TV, right?
There you go. You're getting there. You're almost there. You're still attached to the chair.
Give me the headphones.
This is turning into a nightmare of major proportions. The 14 cats will not have a mother if things keep going like they are right now.
All right.
And don't forget, you're on video.
I know.
Yeah, we're streaming live.
See that?
Yes, they can see everything that you're going through. All of the experiences that you're having are being recorded
Surround sound in the
straight to
studio, right?
YouTube.
Yeah.
This is the most entertainment I've had all day.
Okay,
I love it.
We did have a cat named Minka.
Minka?
Who, what was it?
Minka,
You would just
Minka.
touch her and she would
Oh, yes.
just touch her and so
So I did a Christmas tape, and I just a cappella, and I went, Silent night, holy, meow, all is calm, all is meow. She would, every time you'd touch her, she would meow. So I had this whole, I did 4 or 5 songs.
Oh,
It
that's
was hilarious. It was
hilarious.
great.
Oh my gosh! And Minka is no longer with us.
No.
She's in the heavenly choir. In fact, one strange day we were heading down the road, and we were talking about how many cats we've actually lost.
More than you actually have.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah. We actually
Yeah.
have, I think we've lost maybe about 25 or 26 since we've been married.
Good
We've
Lord.
been
Lost
married
3 this summer,
27,
and-
almost 27 years. Yeah.
A cat a year.
Yeah.
I don't know. The
you
14 that are there don't have a very hopeful history now, do they? The future
well,
looks
the
guarded.
The odds are that we will outlive them. That's the
No, it's
plan.
wonderful that you are such wonderful animal caretakers.
Well, we're suckers, but
yeah, well, that's okay.
But you can't leave
Aren't
them
we
out
all?
in the night. No.
No,
Yeah.
aren't we all?
For sure.
Yeah, we love our babies. All right, you guys ready to go? That's a littler guitar than you were playing there, Ms. Bomar.
Yeah, I'm going to play a little guitar now. Bob's got this joke about it now.
Yeah, a lot of times you talk to people and they say, about playing music and guitar, and they say, "Oh, I play a little guitar." I thought, well, now
Yes,
Mary
you
can play
do.
a little guitar too.
All right, let's hear it. What are we going to
Making Colin go, it's like, "Oh, I didn't get a sound check on that guitar.
What are we playing on the little guitar?
Okay, there's a story behind this song. Oh, the other thing about the in 2011 was our first year to play for the Dan Fogelberg thing in Peoria.
Right.
3 weeks before that event, I had a freak accident at my parents' house in Virginia, and I fell. One leg went down through an upstairs heat register that we had open. We were trying to do something for my mother, and I forgot we hadn't put the cover on it. So I stepped through, and my left leg goes down, and that my mother sees my leg come through the living room, the hallway, come through the hall ceiling.
Oh, my Lord.
But my right leg got left behind, and I don't know if my right foot hit the door jamb or just hit the floor, but I fractured 4 bones in my right foot. So,
Good Lord.
And my first thought was, the Dan Fogelberg thing is in 3 weeks. So anyway, we went. I was in a wheelchair with a leg extension. They will never forget us.
Because you couldn't put any
I
weight on
couldn't
it for
put
like
any
7
weight
or
on
8
it for
weeks.
7 or 8 weeks.
I'm
So-
thinking that you might want to reconsider doing Dan
Well,
Fogelberg
you know,
again.
that's when I told one of the board members. We didn't tell them about my finger until I got up there, because I wanted to make sure I could play. So that was 3 weeks before that one. The finger happened 6 weeks before the one in Maine. So he said, Mary, when we do it at a different location, 9 weeks before, we're going to put you in a padded cell.
I think that's a great idea. Okay, what do we have next?
So anyway, in 2011 when we played, Robert McEntee was there, and he played with Dan for the last 13 or 14 years of his touring.
Aw.
Robert also played for Carole King when he was 19 years old. So he's
Nice.
a fabulous musician. He just kind of fell in love with Bob and me. So in 2011 or 2012, they called him to see if he would come back, and he said, "Are Bomar and Ritter coming back?" And so they said, okay. So he came back. So, bless you. So we had a dinner with everybody that came, and Robert and I started having a conversation about people, and some people are happy, and some people decide they want to be depressed, or some people can't help it. But if you have a choice, I mean, if I have a choice, I'm going to be happy. But Robert's a rather serious kind of guy, and he goes, well, you don't want the sunshine blowing up your skirt every day. So over the last 4 years, I've kind of really thought about that, and it was like, wait a minute, I do. Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
So I wrote this song. I traded the skirt in for a dress, and I wrote this song called Standing in the Light.
All right, Bomar and Ritter on the Homegrown Radio Hour.
I want the sunshine blowing up my dress. I'm sorry if you think your life is nothing but a mess. You go into that dark place, I can't go there. 'Cause I'm standing in the light, and I'll be waiting for you here. I'm standing in the light. I'm standing in the light. I'm standing in Some days we're gonna win, some days we're gonna lose. But keep on looking ahead, don't be looking down. And when you see the light, it'll be shining all around. You'll be standing in the light. You'll be standing in the light. You're standing in the light. I'm not trying to preach, but I believe being joyful and thankful will give you peace. So bring that sunshine blowing up my dress. You can change your life if you think it's such a mess. Don't go into that dark place, come stand with me. 'Cause I'm standing in the light and it has set me free. I'm standing in the light. I'm standing in the light. You're standing in the light. You're standing in the light. We are standing in the light. We're standing hand in hand in the light. We're standing hand in hand in the light.
Beautiful. Ural's harmonies are just glorious. Harmonies on guitar and harmonies in voice, too. When did you discover you could sing together?
When we met.
That very moment.
Oh, yeah.
We were showcasing. A friend in Nashville had a showcase at a songwriters night, and he asked us to back him up. That's really how we met, and got to be interested in each other. You know, we spent some time rehearsing with him, and our vocals just seemed to blend.
Bob had good legs.
Now the truth comes out.
Yeah, she didn't care about
They're
the voice.
long, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big long legs. Like a daddy long legs.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's always been kind of just easy we pick up harmonies pretty easy.
Oh, my gosh. Beautiful.
And that's been a gift.
Tell the truth. Did you ever harmonize with anyone else before?
Yeah.
Not in a romantic relationship, but yeah, I worked with some folks some very talented people up in Indianapolis, and a group we called Acoustic Avenue. It did tons of Fogelberg, Neil Young, and stuff we still do now.
Acoustic Avenue, I like that.
And did 3-part harmonies, and that was a lot of fun. And
cool.
And I played, the first group I ever sang in was called Backstreet Mission, and there were 4- and 5-part harmonies, and
oh my goodness,
we did all the those cool songs, Gordon Lightfoot, and that kind of Eagles.
All right, I'm going to, before we run out of time here, I want to run through the list of appearances so people will be able to find you in the next month or so. Bold Rock Cidery, 1 to 4:30, and that's in Nellies Ford, Virginia. if you go to boldrock.com, now we've got people all over the world listening to us because we are obviously, on the internet.
World.
Hello world is right. And then the Hopwood Cellars Winery, which is in Zionsville. That's Saturday, December the 3rd.
Yes.
The following Saturday, the 10th, is Talon Winery in Shelbyville, Kentucky. And then Thursday, the 15th, just 10 days before Christmas, the Robin Run Village in Indianapolis. And you've already got 2017 beginning to be booked, which is pretty amazing. The first one is the 11th of January in the Indianapolis Arts Garden. That
Really
should be
cool
so cool.
Yeah.
So you can just go to Bomar and Ritter. That's Bomar and Ritter. And Mary and Bob will share all their beautiful music with you. So check that website if you want more information about them. And they've got all kinds of cool stuff on the website.
Got a great web designer, Mark York. They've really done a nice job for us.
Beautifully done. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming in, and I want to kick off our last 5 minutes with another beautiful tune. What have you got for us?
What are you set for?
Higher ground.
Okay.
Higher ground.
We'll do a tune that I don't know. It's kind of topical, kind of not. It's an older song, like most of them are. It's a tune called "Higher Ground." I think where people kind of look for their happiness maybe where they should. Just looking to better things, looking to higher things, looking to positive things. This is Higher Ground. Hearts filled with sorrow, eyes filled with pain. Wash the hope from tomorrow like a cold driving rain. So many souls who have lost their way. So many lives in complete disarray. Lacking in purpose, lacking in faith. The frail ones crumble beneath the weight of this cruel, cruel world, where we struggle every day to keep our minds open and search for a better way. But are we looking in the right direction? And are we moving with true intention? 'Cause we got everything we need to get by. Still we cling to worldly vices, left to wonder why. The happiness we dream of is nowhere to be found. We need to set our sights on higher ground. Over and over, each day seems the same. Try to find someone or something to blame. True intention to get away. Still we cling to worldly vices, left to wonder why. The happiness we dream of is nowhere to be found. We need to set our sights on higher ground. It's time to set our sights on higher ground.
Bomar and Ritter on the Homegrown Radio Hour. Thank you all so much for being with us tonight. And I will see you Monday with all kinds of fun stuff on Take It From Tara. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.
You're listening to WCHQ LP. Louisville, Kentucky, 100.9 FM, Crescent Hill Radio. All local music all the time.
Did you know that it's 54 degrees in Crescent Hill?
It's 8:01.
Crescent Hill.
Crescent Hill. Crescent Hill.